There we go. I do believe we are live. So I'll say indeed, and greetings unto you, beloved and holy friends. I appreciate you for joining me again, for finding a moment of your time to consider comparison. We had a whole stream just before considering all the ways in which we compare. And we tried to extract as much value as we could to understand why it is we compare so much. Our conclusion was basically that comparison, hey, have some silence. Have some silence from me too. The conclusion was that comparison is neither good nor bad in and of itself, but almost like a nuance creator, right? It gives you more perspective, right? If you comparing yourself to one thing or another makes you feel worse, then don't. If comparing yourself to one thing or another makes you feel inspired, then do. We basically boiled it down to that as like the core tips. We understood that comparison is a social wiring kind of thing, a means of survival, that comparing ourselves would give us valuable information about where we are in the grander scheme of things. We consider the potential pitfalls of ruminating, thinking about all of these things, all of these bad things, all of these comparisons that make you feel less than what you literally are. Then we consider the value of comparison from the perspective of goal setting, right? That I can compare myself to where I was, right? A week ago, a month ago, 5 years ago. And I can acknowledge that there is progress. I can also acknowledge that this progress isn't always linear, right? There is like ups and downs and lefts and rights and forwards and backwards. But there is progress. There is movement, right? One of my core themes that I like to repeat is that only dead things don't move. Hey, join me. Only dead things don't move, right? So in that way, we are very much alive. And in fact, maybe we're dancing. Maybe we're dancing even, right? Step forward, step back, step to the side, step to the other side. Feels pretty dancing to me, right? And I feel like that's one of the biggest, and I feel like we didn't even talk about this perspective in the previous stream, of dancing energy. If you, when you go to dance on the dance floor, are actively comparing yourself to other people, right? Am I dancing as good as that person is dancing? You are not dancing. You hear what I'm saying? And you probably have experienced this as well, right? Like you feel stiff, you feel limited in movement if you're actively trying to compare yourself. But when you're dancing, not for comparison's sake, just for the sake of dancing, when you're just there to move your beingness, there is nothing to compare to, right? Because nobody else is you. Nobody else moves as you for your right? It's yours. Nothing can compare to it. And I wish we did kind of drive that point home a little bit, is the inability to compare as well, right? That we can't. We talked about being realistic in that way, right? What is realistic? Is it realistic for you to compare yourself to someone who has 15 years more experience than you do? Probably not. Probably not very realistic. We are dancing, yeah, Javi. Jovan is here too, saying so many things that come down to a matter of perspective. Whether we see things happening to us, me, for us, seeing ourselves as a victim or a survivor. Where we put our perspective is where we put our personal power. For uh, or us, not me. For us. I mean, it still worked in my mind. Jeez, can I say one smart thing without a grammar poop? Love is true. Your comment was still smart. Don't compare yourself to stupid because grammar mistake. Those are not conflated. These are not mutually inclusive. Right. You were very beautiful. You were very loved. Your points are apt. Come down to the matter of perspective. Whether we see things happening to us or for us. Seeing ourselves as a victim or a survivor. Yeah. I have survived a lot. And I try to not consider myself a victim to my experiences. There definitely has been an element of struggle. Let's go. But there's also been a great deal of growth. So much more do I know now than I did. And more still will I in the future if I continue down this road. I appreciate you, friends, for joining me again for another moment. Before we leave, I will share with you yesterday's poem and flower. Let me go to my gallery first. It's very orange. Right? I feel today's green and black is going to be quite a contrast. Javiv saying, I love that the emoji consortium decided that the poop emoji needed eyes and a big goofy grin. Like, why though? I mean, the fact that they could nerf the firearm into what looks like a little squeegee gun, right, means that they could technically have nerfed the poop emoji into non-existence. And they decided to give it eyes and a mouth instead. You know, this says a lot about society. Let me show you something else. How about this? How about them apples? How about one of these? There's a quail behind me. How about one of these? How about that? And then the poem went like such. It's called The Vantage of Forever. And again, Joe has sent us a message. I really hope you come to Chicago someday. Chicago, I went and checked, is very close to Indiana. I mean, like, almost comically, like, conveniently close to Indiana. So the odds are higher than I would go to Chicago someday. And he goes, I really hope you come to Chicago someday and we get to hang out and listen to music. You can stay as long as you want, and I will do all the arcane and labyrinthian paperwork for you and your partner. It would make me so happy. But for today, this is so wonderful. Thank you, Melt. I will blow my harmonica with love at last tonight. Love to you. Love to you, dear Joe. Please do blow your harmonica with all the love through your lungs and into the world. I appreciate these invitations, and they might not be that far away. The Vantage of Forever. I like the title of your poem. This one is pretty cool, right? Because you are on that vantage. It's not a point. It is, but it is the vantage of the forever. Reminds me of chrysanthemums. I can see that. Definitely. Mr. Fly, please find yourself somewhere else in the infinite that is around us. Because this vantage of forever is getting triggered. Life stretches on. A ribbon unspooling, a horizon that surrenders to no final frame. We glance at its ceaseless tide and wonder, how can something so infinite be ours to hold? Timelines, our days in quiet footprints, each moment ticking towards unknown shores. Yet, beyond the four familiar walls of length, width, height, and passing hours, a hush of awareness breathes, whispering, there is more. It's the hidden dimension, a space of self that sees your body move through the world's brimming corridors and ever witness shaping each breath into meaning. In the silent vantage above time's river, discouragement softens, its edges blurring into possibility. For if endlessness intimidates, it also offers boundless hope. To try again, to learn anew, to gather every dawn in trembling hands and make it yours. Listen to the echo of your own becoming. It says this continuity is a gift, that life undying is life still yours, ripe with a promise no boundary can contain. Press on through the open door of tomorrow, bearing the lantern of your conscious gaze, and know, in that fifth dimension of spirit, there is no end to what love can become. We are already one. Woo! The vantage of forever. Literally here forever. Oh, what a trip. Huh? Suddenly the manic laughter starts. Oh, Joe Bryan Radio. He's a Patreon supporter. He really is. Is he on the YouTube? Who is this mystery commenter? I think he's on the YouTube. He's definitely been here since the ARPAN days. He's been supporting the Patreon since the ARPAN days. So who even knows? Who even? Maybe he doesn't even know. Maybe he doesn't even know that I'm still making videos, but he's just been supporting the Patreon, right? Maybe he thought I fell off when ARPAN stopped. Who knows? Love is true. Lovins, I overslept. You're here. You're here. Second stream. And here you are with us, Kristen. I'm happy that you got some extra rest. So much love. It's nice to have you here. Yeah. The vantage of forever. That poem is kind of putting me through the paces now again. What a trip it is to be people. Right? And infinity at the same time. It's quite a tall order. Right? It's a very wide spectrum to behold. And the fact that we can seems fleeting, and the willingness to seems rare. And I don't know if it's a unwillingness to because it's so brave of you, which I think it is, in some part at the very least. But I also think so from the perspective of it's easier not to. It might be more peaceful not to. Right? Some people find peace in thinking very little of themselves, to say it in so many words. right? And I'm not trying to say that's a bad thing either, right? If peace is what you want, then that is yours. Like, and I don't know how to share the perspective I have right now, other than to share it directly. What I'm thinking about is this person that 20 years ago was guided by what they say is God towards this cave that they now live in. And that cave was technically the property of someone else, but through them living there by accident, it kind of became their space. And there is, in the last 20 years, a lot of change that you can notice in that space. But when it comes to the actual things that people need, the things that people, I feel, take for granted almost, right? When it comes to having things, isn't. And yet I can acknowledge at the same time that living as a homeless person in a cave, a nice one at that, would have been very peaceful comparatively to some of the other lives being lived. Right, and it did give me a lot of perspective again. You're totally blending in with the background today. I am with Mama Gaia today, yes. Especially if I hide more of my skin-colored parts. Ah, yes. Ninjago. The Ninjago is here now. Okay, I'm gonna stop. To be naturally. Kristen says, from the road, have the most illuminating day, everyone. I wholeheartedly love you all so insightfully, reflectively, discerningly, and perceptively, knowingly and wisely, thoughtfully, keenly, astutely, observantly, Melt, and all of you, oh so introspective and mindful, discerning and understanding, wise, perceptive, considerate, insightful, and thoughtful friends who ponder what comparison is for. Love is true. Thank you, Joe and Kristen. Melt has become Bedouin. I don't know that one. Maybe I did that too soon. It's okay. I feel like it is at the exact right time. Where did Melt go? Oh, yeah. Suddenly I am completely disguised. Gone from sight. Pull a Drax on myself and be perfectly still. I have mastered the ability of being so perfectly still that I become invisible. Maybe I did that too soon. Love is true. Here's a little Peppy. You want some scritchings, Peppy? Ooh. Scritchings. You want some scritchings? You want some scritchings? Awesome. Yeah. Obligatory Pipim scritchums. You and Gibbon. No, yeah. And then we can say goodbye. Thank you, dear friends, for finding these moments with me. In the chaos that is our modern reality, it really is a blessing finding a moment of calm and a moment of peace, a moment to consider gently comparison today. I appreciate you for joining me in these moments so we can compare day to day. Why don't you ask Google what a Bedouin is. I don't know if I'm even saying it correctly. Hey Google, what is a Bedouin? That is how you say it. A Bedouin, or the Bedou, are pastorally nomadic Arab tribes who have historically inherited the desert regions in the Arabian Peninsula, Northern Africa, the Levant, and the Mesopotamia. If only. If only I could historically inhabit the desert regions with history. You missed my message. Did I? Melt has become Modin. That one I did see. Where did Melt go? That one I saw. Trevive blending into the background today. That one I did see. And left that message another Joe? Yeah, we have two Joes. We got two Joes. The consortium decided. That one I did see as well. Maybe that was the one you were talking about the one about the second Joe, right? You missed my message? Second Joe? Second Joe exists. Technically, our one Joe, our first Joe, is not really a Joe. How about that? Right? And this might be an actual Joe. So we're back to one. Let me know if that was the one I missed, Joe Beef. Maybe it was the Bedin. Maybe you were talking about the Bedin, but I was already doing it, and you already had sent your message. Here cometh a baby dogger. Like a baby. No, my message are getting a new microwave. I don't see new microwave messages. Let me check if I open my main chat. New microphone messages. That's not the right one. There we go. Microwave. Very good deal on the new one. Nice. I hope it serves you well, Joyviv. It is nice getting a new microwave, especially if you've been, as you said, using the old one for 12 years. And a microwave is one of those things that lasts long. I mean, the fact that the old one lasted 12 years, I'm sure this new one will do you good a long time as well. Is the puppy making that squeaky noise? No, that was me. Like, his little face is like, how are you doing? How are you doing that? Huh? How am I doing that, Gobi? You curious? You curious how I do that? It's like, they're wild out here. It was nice having this moment with you friends. I'm happy to share these times, these moments of perspective. Hey, that's my microphone. Seeing no holes in it. Love is true. I appreciate you friends for joining me. I'll see you again soon. Tomorrow. Some green heart. Yeah. Thank you for joining me, friends. Until we do it again.